Did Aboriginal people live in perfect harmony with the land and each other before the dreaded white man came? Many would nod vigorously and say yes, but let's not let a good myth get in the way of actual history. Through Aboriginal oral traditions, creation stories, Aboriginal eyewitness accounts, ancient rock art, skeletal evidence, and early European observations, we're going to honour a less fashionable but very real history. The history of conflict among Aboriginal peoples. By the end of this meticulously well-researched course, you'll be able to separate myth from history, paying respect to Aboriginal peoples while bringing overlooked truths to light in a way that sparks real conversations.
Did you know?
Really?
And you might just leave a few friends speechless along the way. Ironically, while plenty of people today pride themselves on being among the first advocates to promote the idea of Aboriginal societies as peaceful utopias, the original founder of this fantasy was none other than Captain James Cook himself.
Cup of tea?
A man now loathed by the very crowd that unknowingly echoes his sentimental idealism. Funny how history works, right? Often vilified as a symbol of colonisation and blamed for unleashing destruction upon Aboriginal peoples, Captain Cook statues have become artistic canvases for the bitter and discontented. Those raised to see Australia's past as a crime scene, now old enough to wield a spray can, but perhaps not quite wise enough to read a history book.
History's racist.
Splashed with graffiti, defaced, and in one dramatic case, sawed clean off its pedestal in St Kilda on the eve of Australia Day 2024. They now stand caught in the crossfire between history and ideology. Yet before he became the villain of modern street art, in 1770, Cook spent 7 weeks in what is now Cooktown, having mostly amicable interactions with the local Aboriginal people, after which, Cook concluded,
I do not look upon them to be a warlike people. On the contrary, I think them a timorous and inoffensive race, no ways inclined to cruelty. They are far more happier than we Europeans. They live in a tranquility which is not disturbed by the inequality of condition.
In short, Cook's takeaway was less brutal savages and more barefoot minimalists living their best lives. While the first convict settlement was established just 8 years after Cook's glowing review of the landscapes, it would be some time before Aboriginal people could effectively communicate in English about the realities of their own histories. Histories rich with tales of armed conflicts, duels, battles, and warriors of legend. And when they did, they certainly didn't hold back. Edward Stone Parker, who served as Assistant Protector of Aborigines in Melbourne's Port Phillip district from 1839 to 1850, wasn't met with dreamy tales of peaceful Eden. Instead, a prominent Aboriginal man bluntly told him,
"The country was strewn with bones, and we were always at the war."
Hardly the kind of quote you'd expect to see proudly displayed in an Aboriginal art gallery. Unless irony was the featured artist. Elders went on to describe how entire tribes had been wiped out in sudden, brutal attacks, often launched not by distant immigrants, but by traditional neighbours. It turns out that pre-colonial Australia wasn't a giant drum circle of harmony. It was a complex, dynamic world where alliances shifted, rivalries burned, and the human predilection for conflict was alive and well. Long before the first British flag was awkwardly planted in the soil to shoo away other European powers from doing exactly the same.